So I joined Finchley Filmmakers back in the mid-1970s, and from the very early days I realised that while it was wonderful filming on 16mm or 8mm or whatever cameras you had, actually that meant nothing until the film was edited, and it became a bit of a passion of mine. So I got involved in some of the film productions, but the big moment for me was in the mid-1980s, that one of the former members of our club, sadly no longer with us, was an expert at making films, and he was producing a marvellous 30-minute drama. And we filmed it on 16mm, which to me was like wonderful because it was all professional. And he had a film editor lined up, ready to work on it. So I didn't think anything more of the editing process. At the last minute, that film editor was called to work up in the north of England, in Leeds, actually, with her husband. And so she was lost. So I was given a fantastic opportunity to be trained at the BBC Ealing Film Studios, where they were editing an edition of Miss Marple. It was all being cut on 16mm professional. I'd never really come across that before. And it was a fantastic experience. And I wrote notes and notes and notes and watched how they were doing it. It was a great learning experience. I then edited the film with Oscar Riesel, who was the director, a very appropriate name for an expert in film. That film then went on to become one of the biggest successes of Finchley Filmmakers. We used to be called Finchley Cine Society then, because we didn't really have video in those days. So that was a great learning experience, and everything I learnt from those few days of intensive training at the BBC have really been the platform for all my film and now video editing since then. I then moved on very briefly into the world of editing VHS, which was a really horrible format, and we never liked it at the time, but we had to put up with it until, fortunately, we moved to today's format, which is non-linear editing. Everything I'd learned on film editing back at the BBC and since, I've been able to apply on non-linear editing. Filmmaking still today, even though it's on video and not on film, is very much the same as it was in film days. The way you edit together, the way you decide on what the cut should be, the way you mix the sound together with a picture, lay sound effects on music. All those techniques have remained the same, even though the mechanics of it have moved from mechanical film splicing with cement and tapes. All the expertise that you learn in the past can be completely brought forward and translated into today's much more sophisticated editing systems. And that's why, for me, film editing, video editing, is the most exciting and probably the most challenging part of filmmaking.